right, guys. Hey. All right. So I know we are off track terribly with our winners. We're going to do, in this video, we're going to do the 10th and the 11th. Because we've got to get ourselves caught up. And I know the 10th has slipped by us, but we do have basically 4 winners now, 2 for the 10th and 2 for the 11th. And this video is going to cover today's topics for both days. So here's what we have. Raise the Cage, Chalita in Chicago, Kristen Holland, and Lightning Cass. You guys are our 4 winners for the 10th and the 11th. And as soon as I'm done doing this video live, then I will do a video where we do all 4 of those winners. We'll also put the birthday messages for the 10th and the 11th in that video as well. And there will be a free link right there in the description box. So guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the today's topic videos, we've been doing a countdown to Christmas with this crazy boombox advent calendar. And I was doing a big 80s theme, but life got complicated in the last 2 days. So in any case, we are kind of like getting ourselves back on track now. And tomorrow we'll go back to our nice 80s backdrop. But for the moment, let's go ahead and just mention that if you guys want to enter to win, all you have to do is write the word compassion in the comment section. Comments will be visible as soon as I'm done with this live stream, okay? Hi, guys. Nice to see you. Astrid Noid, Rania Kamal, Carol. So wonderful to see you all. All right, so what was the big topic item for the 10th, even though I know the 10th is long since over and we're already marching into the 11th, but we're just going to take a split second and ask about the 10th. We have 9 of Pentacles, and that 9 of Pentacles represents a day where either someone was really focusing on listening to the messages coming into them from their guides. Now, this could specifically have been important. The 10th was important maybe for a single female or divine feminine who was getting a message. She may have had a really nice day overall, but she was getting some kind of a message. Page of Wands is in the reverse. 8 of Swords was upright. Empress in the reverse. 5 of Cups in the reverse. You know, what I would say is that her guides were kind of nudging her to recognize what a different head and heart space she's in. It's like guides were nudging her to say, you know, for a while you were really stuck and you weren't feeling particularly Empress-like. For a while, you might have been spending more time wondering why someone hadn't reached out to you, or why, you know, there was an absence of seeming like interest or something. And that energy has shifted. Look at how happy you are today. So I'm wondering if on the 10th, we actually had a feminine like pausing and acknowledging, you know what, I'm in a way better head and heart space. I don't feel so trapped. I don't feel so, you know, held onto any idea or something. We have the Hierophant and we have the Ace of Wands. Hierophant is Taurus energy. If anything, this is kind of, I would say, a crown chakra awareness. Like I'm really happy. I'm realizing I've been happy for a while, and it kind of snuck up on me. So that's very nice. I don't know. I like that for her. So maybe she's realized that she's had kind of a peaceful breakthrough, and she's got her happiness back. She's not missing somebody anymore, or she's not stuck, or she maybe has better self-confidence in what she did. Like she rebuilt it sometime without her even realizing she'd done that. So if that was the gentle nudge for her to become aware of on the 10th, let me just ask, was there anything else relevant to pay attention to on the 10th? We have a King of Cups in the reverse. If sometimes the universe nudges us to notice things because it allows us to make a comparison between where we're at and maybe where someone else is at. She may have met somebody on the 10th that does not feel particularly good about themselves, or she might have been nudged, now that she's in a better frame of mind, to think back about someone she dealt with and realize, look, a King of Cups in the reverse can withhold emotions, but sometimes it's because they have, you know, emotions that are either like they don't want to give them out, they're fearful, or it can be somebody who's emotionally manipulative. But We have a Page of Wands. I almost think she's realizing or being nudged to think back to someone and realize, look, there are lots of times in life where we are still hiding in our cave and we're shy or we're scared to show up in a confident way. And it doesn't matter what age we are, because here's this merman who is, gray hair, a gray beard, and yet they're showing up also as just a page, a kid hiding in a cave. It doesn't matter what age we are. Sometimes we take for granted that we think people are supposed to be, all well put together and they can do anything. And it's like, it doesn't matter what age we are. We all get shy sometimes. We all get, sometimes we get pulled back into ourselves and, through life experiences, bad experiences, traumatic experiences. It doesn't matter. There's not really an age where we somehow are impervious to things that might rattle us. And I'm just wondering if, since she's in a more power position on the 10th, or was in a power position on the 10th, if perhaps she is being nudged to just recognize that there was somebody else out there that she encountered, and they may not be in such a happy energy. They might be much more shy. And it could just be, handle everyone with care, no matter what age they are, and not assume that, oh, they were a jerk, or, oh, they must have been playing games. Maybe they're just nervous. Maybe they're, people that we wouldn't expect to be full of their own, lack of moments of, lacking self-confidence. Well, think back. At one point in time, she didn't know she was an empress, and she's only recently started to feel better about herself. So, I think that's a great, gentle reminder. I don't know if that's going to change the way she sees everybody from here on out, or just change the way she sees somebody in particular from the 10th. But that's the big message for the 10th. Okay, let's move on to the 11th, because that's where we are now. All right, so message for the 11th. What do we have here? What is the message for the 11th? We have Ace of Pentacles sideways. We have Two of Cups upright. Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Two of Wands. Ace of Wands. I feel like we may have somebody that is going to kind of go all in all of a sudden. So I'm really going to be curious to see what we get on the 12th. Also, I'm not doing the 12th in this video, but the 12/12 portal, I'm really curious to see what we're going to get, because on the 11th, we're like right before this happens. We're right before we go through this precipice, right? That Ace of Pentacles says somebody's about to. They're thinking about talking to their Two of Cups. They're thinking about like letting it all hang out, dropping their guard, not holding anything back, and just telling somebody how they actually feel. Thinking about it. Again, we don't have them actually doing it because they're still standing at the crossroads, but knowing precisely what they want to say, precisely what they want to do, precisely what action they want to take. But standing there and paused. I feel like somebody is like, if you've ever watched somebody like go up a staircase, but then they stop right before they take the next step. That's what that feels like to me, is I'm almost going to, but then will I? Eight of Swords. They are definitely in like frozen mode, even though everything in their head says this is what I want to do, but my action, I'm freezing. Why are you freezing instead of talking to your Two of Cups? What is it that makes you on the 11th pause? King of Swords. Okay, this could just be part of his process. A King of Swords is very cerebral. He does go through things, and think through things. And sometimes, to a huge extent. Hi, guys. So great to see everyone tonight. Ace of Swords. He's asking himself, he's doing a self-check, and I think it's about his words. He's freezing because he doesn't know if he has a script right. Will I say the words, the perfect words? The only perfect words are the ones maybe that come from our heart, the ones that maybe sometimes I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to be said for thinking things out and, trying to find the right words because something matters to us. So we want to find the right words to describe things. But on the other hand, how do you find the right words? King of Cups. I definitely feel like it's about the emotions, it's about the loyalty. If he's pausing and he's saying, what words do I need to make sure that I say to my Two of Cups? If I'm going to drop my guard and let everything come out. See, I'm wondering if this is so out of the norm for him. A King of Swords, they are much more, well, they're thoughtful, right? And they're cerebral and sometimes can be without emotion, even though it doesn't mean that they don't feel it. And if what he's saying is, wait, before I reach out to my Two of Cups, I can't just come across as clinical and talking about desire. I need to convey my emotions and the fact that my emotions are staying. Like, I basically think this is somebody who realizes I could botch this really bad, almost like maybe they botched it before because they didn't think about, I need to tell them about my emotions. It feels a little robotic, like, remember to express emotion, and I'm not making fun. I really am not. I'm just making light, because this is tough. His natural state is to communicate, sure, but communicate the bare minimum and possibly not in a very warm and fluffy way, even though obviously there's warm and fluffy emotions because this is his Two of Cups he wants to talk to. This is probably a really good idea that he pauses and considers, what is it that I need to actually get across when I speak to my person? I can't just, as much as I want to race up the stairs, knock on the door, and go talk to somebody, I can't until I pause and I say, what am I about to say to them? The thing that I most need to tell them, have I considered how I'll say those words? So let me ask this. How are you sifting through this? Are you writing it down? Are you just taking a long walk? What are you doing? 10 of Pentacles, they're thinking about it from their Two of Cups viewpoint. They're saying, okay, listen, I want this to be a negotiation with somebody where I tell them, this is what I'm bringing to the table because I want you to give me this in return. So let me think, what would make them want to say yes to my proposal? I have to offer them something that they would want. That means, let me think about this, like, even though it's about love, let me still think about this like it's almost like a business, exchange. What can I offer that will then make them want to reciprocate? And again, remember, we're dealing with a King of Swords on the 11th who's trying to make sure that he conveys what he actually feels, which is love, and the fact that he wants to offer loyalty, and he's thinking about it from their viewpoint, from their Two of Cups, to say, how would my Two of Cups hear this, and what would they need to hear and want to hear? Part of this, you notice this is big old moon here. Part of it is like, I don't know how to put myself in somebody else's shoes, but I think he does, because he's saying his Two of Cups is like his other half. His Two of Cups is his complement, or somebody. I think he's selling himself short. I think he knows very much what his Two of Cups would like to hear, what they need to hear to understand where he's coming from. With that Devil, though, why do you have such fear? Is it just because you don't want to blow this? The Hermit. There is some energy here where he knows that his Two of Cups, and his Two of Cups could be a Capricorn or could be a Virgo. And he could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. He could also be a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But he's looking at this like, I know that they will withdraw and they will think about things. And I don't really know, because they hold the moon in their hands. I don't know how their brain operates, but I know that they are a supreme analyzer. And I know that they won't tell me what they're thinking when I'm in front of them. They'll withdraw and take things and address them and assess them instead of tell me what they're thinking about in the moment. So they're scared of how their Two of Cups will interpret their words because they know that the person that they love has a tendency to digest slowly and quietly on their own, and they don't know where those thoughts are going to lead. Isn't that everyone though? I mean, doesn't everybody do that? Hi guys. We have Seven of Cups, and the reverse. They're like, no, I know this is what they'll do. It doesn't matter what I say; they're still going to digest it, and they're going to go away and keep thinking about things because that's how they operate. And I know that, so there can't be any confusion, because if there's any confusion, if I say anything that they don't know the answer to or that I haven't made plain, it won't just be a conversation where then they give me an answer. It will be a multitude of conversations. So this is crazy. They're freaking out because they may be somebody who's quite linear as a King of Swords, right? They say the thing that they think, this statement is a complete sentence. But in truth, life has many nuances, and there are many, many, many different little avenues of, conversation. I mean, like I could say, today I had a busy day. Okay. And that is absolutely true. And then on the other hand, someone could say, what made it busy? And then I can prattle off the different things that happened. But then at a deeper level, it's like, okay, that's interesting. What do you mean Aries had to have a bath today? Well, I had to do his bath. He doesn't like other people bathing him. And then Aries had to get his little pedicure, and Aries had to get, there are other things that go on. And then the amount of the mess that was created and all these other things that sometimes go wrong in a day. You can just say one statement and leave it, or depending on what kind of a person you are, if you like details, there's a lot more that goes to it, right? And until you understand that a gigantic mess had been made, and then it took an extra hour and a half to tidy up because there was water everywhere and there was all kinds of problems, it wouldn't have made sense where did the gap of time disappear to in a day? So sometimes one sentence of an explanation is not enough. And I think he knows he's dealing with somebody where if he says one sentence, which is, I want to be with my Two of Cups. I am passionate about my Two of Cups, and I want to tell my Two of Cups that. That ain't enough. It's got to be, you're passionate? Why? What does that mean? And it's like, okay, wait a second. I love my Two of Cups. Okay, so what are you asking me for? Oh, I need to tell my Two of Cups I want to stay with them. I want to be with them. Okay, but wait a second. What is my Two of Cups going to ask me then? Because I know my Two of Cups will take information and then they will ask a million questions. And if I haven't already answered those million questions, they will find something else that they will either be worried about, or it's like he's trying to get in front of additional questions, because the most important thing is, Two of Cups, I want to give you my heart. I'm not sure if he's overly analyzing this himself and freaking himself out, or if he is maybe, if he just doesn't really understand how his hermit works. Let me get one more for his explanation. Two of Swords, he's mostly petrified. What if my Two of Cups doesn't want to talk to me? Because I think he already experienced that. We've already been in total silence, and he contributed to that. He says twice now, we are a matched pair. So on one hand, he says he doesn't quite understand what his hermit will think once he tells them how he feels. But on the other hand, he's sure that the wrong words will shut everything down. And that he has in common, because the wrong words shut him down before too. Okay, so this is one of those storylines where there's a lot riding on saying this right, doing this right, because I'm guessing these two already triggered each other and melted down, which would make sense because there are Two of Cups. Okay, so can we just see briefly what happened in the past, where they melted down in the past? Empress, Five of Cups, Tower. I don't know exactly what caused it. I can only say that he made his Empress very, very, very sad. instead of happy. And then it was over. And I'm guessing that his Two of Cups is his Empress. And I'm guessing that she expressed that in no uncertain terms. Something about like absolutely devastated. And I don't know if she said he was selfish, but we do have pig goblets in the sky. So, and she looks like she's got a headache here. And it looks like she was trying really hard to hold back her inner dragon because she might have really told him off. And I will say it ended everything. So I don't know if it was some poorly placed words. And then she was like, oh my God, that's devastating to hear you say that. So we're done. You know, it feels like this was a situation where something was significantly misspoken and caused great grief. And what's crazy is he might have been trying to say something about love. That's okay. Hang on. Wait. How did you think you were saying something about your heart or something heartfelt? Judgment in the reverse, Seven of Pentacles upright. Something heartfelt, which was, I don't want to reconcile with you until way later on. Okay, so I can understand why he's pretty freaked out about, I'm going to talk to my Two of Cups and I have to get it right because this is a shit show. Okay, so whatever happened in the past, his effort of showing his great love was to say, basically, maybe what he was trying to say is like, I'm not trying to get us back together right now. I know that would take time for us to like really rebuild. And, you know, so obviously these two have had maybe nothing but struggles. But unfortunately, what might have come across as not him saying, you know, I really love you, which is why I want to work on this. You know, let's not put huge pressure on it. Let's just say day by day, can we just rebuild? It's already happened somewhere in the past. But instead, what I think it came across as is he's riding on his high horse over there and saying, don't think I want to get back with you. Maybe if you behave well enough, we'll see later on, maybe I'll change my mind. That you see how the same sentence could come out so freaking horrible. Oh, if that's why we have an Empress sitting there saying, well, would you like to give me a paper cut and pour lemon juice on it on your way out the door? Because how much more, you know, insult and pain would you like to throw at me? We're done. You know, like that, I could see why she shut down. And I could see why she was trying really hard to hold back her dragon, but instead chose to tell him that that was probably the most painful thing and she doesn't want to deal with him anymore. That was the end of the road for her. This went really, really bad. Really bad. This is where wording really does matter, and particularly for him, maybe because he's a King of Swords. Okay, let me ask this. King of Swords, did you try to say, whoa, no, that's not what I said. You are hearing that wrong, or I said that wrong. We're not walking out of this room till you need to hear what I actually said or what I tried to say. Nope, he didn't try to fix it. He got pissed. Five of Swords. Why'd you get pissed? Or was it frustrated or what? What was the deal? Nine of Swords. He was too upset, too stressed, his hackles go up. He's, raising up like a freaking cobra. His feathers are plumed. He's stressing hard. Okay, so this was a horrible conversation that these two had in the past. And that led to like the collapse. So at this point, I'm guessing this is like, basically then this would be kind of like at least the second attempt to regroup and see if, can we please, can I lead with my heart instead? Can I drop my guard and can I lead with my heart instead and make sure that I say the thing that maybe I should have said before, which was not, look, I'm not trying to get back with you. Maybe later I'd consider it. That ain't the way to handle a love story. If that's what you said before, I can see why he's like, no, this time I have to say what I want is to offer my heart in a loyal way. That's what I want. Okay. So he's thinking heavily about the right words this time. Good. Much better plan. Much better plan. And I can also see why there'd be a lot of fear. And I can also see why he says, and I worry that my Empress, Two of Cups / Hermit person, they will weigh my words very, very, very heavily because of what I said. And they may shut down immediately if I get this wrong. Can I just go back? Because I keep staring at that Hermit card. And what is the deal with they hold the moon in their hands? What does that represent to you? Is it that you don't fully understand the way they operate, or is there a mystery to them? The world, no, it's that they hold kind of my future in their hands. And that's why it's really hard to know what they're going to want. I don't know if they're going to want to say, but they love me too. So yes, let's have a do-over. And now we both have a safety zone. Maybe they finally put themselves in the Hermit's role, the Empress's role. Because let's put it on the opposite. Because right now the shoe is on the other foot. They said to their Empress once upon a time something to the effect of, they weren't trying to reconcile, but maybe later they would want to, or something along those lines, right? Which made her totally shut down and say, we're done. Now they're coming in to say that they love their Empress, and they have to wait and wonder what her response is going to be. And it's like, oh my God. So now it's on the opposite side. Like, what if she gives me some weird maybe and I have no idea what that means? What, she wants to be friends with me, she's not sure, she'll make a determination about me later. What if she leaves me hanging and doesn't give me an answer about, are we having a do-over? Are you not sure? Are we having a do-over, but you don't know if you could love me again? Do you love me, but you don't know that you want to be with me, but we'll try a do-over? That's exactly the position they put her in. And now I think whether or not they recognize it, this is why they're freaking out. They got the devil. That's how scared they are of this. That's why they're trying to formulate, how will I say something that's so precise that then she can give me an answer? But what if she doesn't? What if I don't know what she really means? Well, that's what you did to her. I'm not saying I want to be back with you. That Judgment card was in the reverse, but maybe over time with the Seven of Pentacles, I'll figure it out. Honestly, I don't even know why I should give you another shot. I'm sorry. I got it. Sassy Kate is riding on in. My alter ego is Sassy Kate, and she rides a giant loud motorcycle. And I feel like I just busted on in and had to get all mouthy. But I don't really know why an Empress would deal with this person if that's the way they would have treated a connection at all. I see why an Empress would have said that's a Five of Cups moment for me. That's probably the nastiest, most devastating thing to hear. So I definitely will let you go. No, you don't need to give me a chance and maybe later decide if you like me or something. We can just be done now. And she really humbled herself to say it's incredibly painful to hear that's how you feel, but I'll let you go. That is an Empress move, though, for sure. It's, to own it, to say it hurts, and then to also just let somebody go, because it's like, no, you don't need to spend your time wondering if I matter to you. I'll just go ahead and exit. No need for you to invest your time trying to figure it out. I'm sure you got better things to do anyway. I could see. That's why I just don't know. I don't know if there's anything they're going to be able to say that's going to make her be like, oh, you want me after all? Oh, cool. I don't know. This looks like it was a pretty hurtful thing. And instead of them fixing it, they went into like, I'm stressed and I'm mad at you for shutting down on me. Can we go back? We need to dig. I'm sorry, this is a long video, but here's the thing. Their reaction to that fight in the past, when the Empress bounced, they got pissed and super stressed. So, and that's why they didn't try to fix anything with her. But let me ask more about that, because I'm trying to understand their motive in the way they behaved. Okay. So why did you get stressed and mad. The world, okay, you wanted things to go different. You wanted a new beginning, but you said you didn't with the Judgment card in the reverse. The moon sideways. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know what or how it was going to be a new beginning. King of Cups, Seven of Wands. I didn't know if I should say that I loved her. Okay, so ego. If you don't know that you can tell somebody that you love them because you don't know if they want to hear that, and you don't want to say, I want a new beginning and I love you, but I don't want to say that unless I know what that feels very high school. Like, I don't want to tell somebody I like them unless they tell me that somebody tells me that they like me. It feels like they wanted a new beginning, but they didn't know. Like, I didn't know if she'd want me to tell her my emotions. And unless were you not sure of your emotions for her? What did you want with her? Because you said you didn't want a do-over, except maybe later. So you made her feel like she was unimportant and she was maybe on the chopping block, or maybe she was, like, if I have nothing better to do and if you dance for me and, entertain me, then maybe I'll go ahead and pick you. Like, that's how it comes across with those two cards that we had. But then it says you got mad and super stressed because you didn't know. What? How did you not know? When you say your King of Cups card is upright. I love her. The Devil, the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if they got some really freaking bad advice that's like, well, don't just, fix stuff with somebody. Like, you need to ease your way into it. Because this says they had so much freaking fear that, I'm not supposed to say that I love her unless enough time has passed and we've worked on things for a while. Oh man, this guy does have problems with vocabulary stuff, huh? Okay, look, the reason I'm digging at this is because I was trying to figure out, is this person like a class A ass, or is this somebody that just fumbled really, really bad and then got mad at themselves? And because this card is what saved it for me and made me say, well, I gotta dig further. If it was just that they got pissed, I shouldn't have to, what are you mad about? I said I wasn't sure about you. And now you say you don't want to deal with me, and now I'm pissed because I was supposed to get to take my time and, decide if I wanted you. That's not what it was. I didn't think it could be, just because why would you have been stressed? Somebody who's that arrogant and full of themselves isn't stressed, they're just pissed. But this says they were pissed and stressed. And I think that's the saving grace. They really struggle with trying to figure out, how am I supposed to handle anything? I love her, the King of Cups, but I didn't think I was supposed to say that yet. Not when we're trying to piece stuff back together and, blah, blah, blah. It's, what? I think they need to quit thinking so much about what the perfect routine would be and instead get to, what do you want? Just simplify this. Why say you don't want to reconcile until later, maybe? Or they were thinking they'd talk about reconciliation way later. If what you need to do is get something on track, you need to lead with that. I think. It's like, start at the end of what you want. I want us together. I want us to work. Now I know there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we got to work on. But, if you give somebody that safety net, you begin at the end of your sentence and say, here's what I want. I want us because I really love you. Now, I know that there's all this other mess, but do you want to fix it up with me? Because that's what I would like. That's way more simple, but that's not how he went about it. He started out with, there's no way that we can talk about reconciliation. Except that's exactly what he wanted. So I get it. So he botched it badly in the past. Okay. And now this is a second run at this. And now he's freaking out that he'll get it wrong. And he's freaking out that he won't say the right thing. And he's really freaking out that what if I tell her how I feel and she doesn't give me an answer and I'm left wondering, do I get a new beginning? Do we have a new beginning? How does she feel about me? That will be stressful because this whole thing has been a mess. Let's go to the Empress for a second and just ask, We really shouldn't be looking ahead because this was only a message for the 11th. And the message for the 11th is this is just what's going on in his head, round and round and round and round, as he's trying to figure out what move to make, because he already knows he's going to be reaching out to his Two of Cups. But he's not doing it on the 11th because he's still got to sort it out. We'll get one card just for the Empress's, like, would the Empress ever want to hear from him again? Let's just ask it that way, okay? And then we'll just go back only to him because this is really his component. We have a Four of Coins in the reverse. If he had something to actually say, the Empress would definitely want to hear him out. And that's, remember, we already saw that card is here. We saw the Four of Pentacles. That was one of the earliest cards that came out, which is he wants to like lay it all out on the line and actually put his cards down. I don't know where the heck it went now, but that is where he's at. Like he'd like to go ahead and just lay everything out instead of play it the way he did last time. That's the only conditions in which I think the Empress would interact with them, is if he says what he needs to say, says something other than whatever happened last time. So yeah, the Empress would hear him out for sure. I'm not going to ask, does she want him back? Does she blah, 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 because so much of that would probably contend with like what on earth is going to be said. You know, this feels like it was very confusing and very hurtful and very unnecessarily so. So there's a bunch of like unknowns, but let me just go back over to him real quick and say, so on the 11th, as we've seen him puzzle all this out, is he gonna first off get to a question or like the way he wants to communicate? Is he gonna come up with what he needs to say? Three of Pentacles, yes, but he's actually doing like freaking research. This is it literally says, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's written up there on the blackboard, which, by the way, thank you guys for giving a like and subscribe. But it literally says that I did not write that on that card. But he's watching something that's like filmed and, you know, videoed like on YouTube or something. And it's so crazy. For more tips, subscribe to our channel. It says over on this side. So he's like possibly doing like recon on the 11th to try to figure out what is the best way to communicate or what is most effective. Or maybe he's checking her out. I don't know. Maybe she does something and he's like, I need to like reacquaint myself with her energy or something. I feel like it's recon. Strength card, Two of Pentacles. Now I think it's, oh God, I hope he doesn't go down the road of trying to figure out how to talk to somebody based off of, you know, like, you know, there's nothing I loathe. Sorry, this is my personal opinion. There's nothing I loathe more than those like psychological, you know, like supposedly the questions that are supposed to, you know, help people figure out more about people. And it's like, it feels like psychological games and it feels very insincere. And, you know, sometimes you'll hear that like in, you know, like different job interviews and such. And I was just like, oh my God, just be a human and just talk to me like a human. I'm sorry. That's just, I'm very old school. So I can't really get down with a whole bunch of this, whatever, but that's just my opinion. But I'm worried that he's about to listen to stuff that's like, you know, effective communication styles to, you know, to get someone to reveal, you know, what they want and to convey themselves in a, you know, bond strengthening exercise. And I wonder if he's going like, I don't know if they're going to dig this or not. Look, to his credit, he's trying to figure this out. But if you go down an insincere route, he's going to veer further away, I think, from the origin, which was that he needed to tell her that he loved her. That's it. It's that simple. Tell somebody, I love you and I wanted to work things out with you then, and I didn't know how to say that because I wasn't sure what you thought. And now it's a mess. And I'm not any good at trying to describe stuff, but here's what I wanted. You know, just the simple truth. Instead of all of this studying up and trying to find more almost like manipulative tactics to get somebody to draw them out, to pre-think what they're going to think and blah, 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 blah. It just seems like a waste of effort to me. But maybe I'm too simple-minded. He's trying to figure it out because it really does matter, but I think he's psyching himself up and creating more trouble. It's pretty easy to tell somebody, I love you and I wanted to work things out with you then, and I botched it then, and I don't want to botch it now. That's it. But again, I'm simple-minded. So ultimately, are you coming to your great conclusion on the 11th? The Hierophant, after maybe wasting some hours trying to figure out the best language to use and psychological, approaches, maybe he does have that crown chakra awakening, or maybe he goes and talks to a spiritual advisor. But it does say he's trying to, get to the heart of the matter and say, it's the commitment that I want to make. It's a commitment that I want to receive. If this is the person he wants to marry in particular, if this is the person he really believes is the right person for him, then these two are going to have to figure out how to communicate anyway. 5 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. Thank God. It looks like if he does either just listen to his own higher self, he says, I hurt the person that I loved, and that's the whole point. I loved her and I should have fixed it. I hurt her badly. She told me point blank that I did. So I need to fix that hurt. It's that simple. I need to go and I need to tell her that I love her, because that's the thing that hurt her, is that I made her feel unimportant. So there's the remedy right there. I hurt you. I made you think you didn't matter to me when it was the reverse, and I should have been on your doorstep telling you that I loved you. The remedy was always there. It's like, how like a lot of times the anti-venom is made from the venom. The thing that hurts is the thing that can take away the thing as well. I don't know. There's something here of like, this could be very easily fixed if he stops overthinking it and just simplifies it after all. So I'm wondering what he's going to do on the 12th, because the 11th is a day for all this deep thought. But he gets to the answer of what I think he's planning. I'm going to leave it here. I know it's a cliffhanger, but I don't know if we'll see this character again on the 12th or not. But the 12th is, a 12-12 portal, which I always think of as a doorway. And that leaves us kind of with a door, doesn't it? Not kind of, it totally does. But this is a very long video. It's 42 minutes for today's topic. Guys, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I just don't know when to zip it. Sorry, everybody. I've been kind of a mess again with my lungs this week, too. And anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will go ahead and end this one here, and then I'll see you guys for our 4 winners and the 2 little birthday messages as well. Probably take me about 20 minutes to do that, and then I'll add that free link right there in the description box. All right, you guys, so good to see you. Steve, hi, hon. YouTube watcher, Carol, thank you, babe. Rebel Trontic, thanks for being here. All right, you guys. SMB, hey. Anderson Star Art, thanks for being here. Hi, Wendy. My Planet, happy Christmas to you also, babe. Thank you guys so much. So nice to see you all tonight. Miss Solo Dolo, hi, honey. Hi, Christy. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. If you guys are new here, I do cough from time to time. I have just really bad asthma. I had a lung injury as a kid, and then as an adult, it ended up annoyingly getting a lot worse. And so most of the time I'm good, but sometimes it's, seasonal stuff, and if the air is bad. So forgive me for that. But Lavender Moon, nice to see you, hun. Astrid Noid, thanks again. Sierra, Manzi Halls, Tina's just passing time, CDW, Ariel Cavell, hi Selene, Melissa Estes, Gabriella, Annie S, hi hun. Annie S, we did get Capricorn, and we also got Aquarius out tonight. And tomorrow we'll wrap up with the rest of the zodiacs. Hi RT, Friend Forever 11, thanks so much for being here, babe. Wayne Anderson. Rainy Kamal, did you ask if you were subscribed? I don't subscribe, people. You have to do that. But were you thinking subscribe or were you thinking member? To hit the subscribe button is just the subscribe button. But yeah, to keep out scammers, I have discovered that if I only leave comments on for subscribers, it so cuts down on the amount of scammers. And it's really helped clean it up so then I can keep comments on, because it was really bad. I was having like 35 scam messages every single video. And so I only let subscribers and members comment anymore, because that way it keeps the channel like smooth. But if you don't want to be a subscriber, you don't have to. You can just unclick a button. But yeah, that's why I do that. So anyway, you guys, thanks again for being here. And thank you for being subscribers. And of course, thank you to my members as well. Bruce Reed, so nice to see you. Fees Mystic Faith, really good to see everybody. Bye for right now. Aqua Starman, hi.